My friend Tom is going to come up here and talk about equipment and acquisition financing and how we own that in-house and how doing business with us finance-wise is also better for you because we understand laundromats. And probably a lot of you in this room are hoping to get into, store 2, store 3, store 4, store 5. How do we accelerate that plan for you and get you there faster? So Speed Queen Insights. So aside from the touch controls, there's kind of a back of the house ability in our machines today where you get remote management, reporting, app pay, customer rewards, wash, dry, fold solutions, and our customer, our CRM. So marketing and support is something that the factory does provide as well. We have store owner assets. You can listen to our Laundromat Insights podcast. You can grab some signage out of our store and have it printed locally, or you can print it through us for a fee. There's training videos on there of all kinds. Some of them will help you work on your equipment. Some of them will help you understand how to maximize all the technology in your equipment. And then there's technical support, something that Alliance has long been known for, that you can call us and you can get us on the phone and we can help you, troubleshoot your questions. So, and this all leads to the big thing for us is to achieve customer experience for you and for the people coming in your stores. There's something to be said about walking into a state-of-the-art laundromat after being, maybe you've been around town and you've seen a lot of older laundries in the area, and it's like a sea of mediocrity, and then you walk into this transformative laundromat, and I think your customers are going to remember for the first time probably what brand of equipment's in that store when they walk up and they see these touch machines. So talk a little bit about STAR, the first part of our wheel here. Michael touched on this, but 1958, the opportunity to take over the Tennessee market. In about 95, Michael Davis has done tremendous with that expansion. He launched Park Kings in 97, right? And they're covering Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama. Here's a picture of the crew from last year's virtual show. Did anybody attend in here? Did anybody attend the virtual show last year? Yeah, okay, we got a few. Good thing I updated the deck. There's 2. All right. So I've got a testimonial here. This is Aaron Helms. Aaron is a quantum touch investor who's in Van Buren, Arkansas, and we had shot a video with him. And if the internet works well, which is 50-50 here, you might be able to hear about it. After this commercial.
Let's go and do it. This is quite an intense workout. I'm excited to be doing this with you today. So we're moving our throat rate up. A little bit of resistance.
It's the problem with opening a YouTube link. That's going to work for us.
You skip that ad?
I can't even find the ad. So we'll just skip the video. Is not going to play for me. Maybe what I can do is I'll send you a link to it after the show if you want to provide your emails. We'll talk a little bit about Speed Queen Pay. So what Aaron basically talks about is just he went into this Arkansas area that was very rural, and he, looking around, you wouldn't think maybe that this area would get technology or that it would work there. But it had been a phenomenal success. His store ramped very quickly. He's got a lot of return business, a lot of loyalty program. People are taking advantage of the app pay. And in there is a loyalty program that makes them want to come back and keep earning those loyalty points. It kind of gamifies the whole laundry experience. But the Speed Queen app, and I'm going to talk briefly about it. It's a lot of customers are adding this to their store. It's got a mobile wallet. So think like Starbucks. You go in, you load money on your app, and then you use it to pay. What they don't spend would be called the float, and the float is yours to keep. The store owner owns it, Speakwing doesn't own it. The customer doesn't own it. At the end of the day, it's yours. So if they never come back and they never spend that money, at some point you decide to just roll it into your. And I will tell you that we have customers out there with 12 stores with apps where the actual float is a 6-figure number. So keep that in mind. It can get very big. Customers earn rewards. Modifiers are selectable in the app now. So with a recent update, you can actually go into the app, and it used to be like you had to select your cycle on the machine, right? And then you could pay with the app. Now you can select your cycle on the app. You can add your modifier. Say you want extra wash, extra rinse, you want whatever you want. You turn that on in the app, and then boom, it'll select it for the machine automatically, and you can pay with your mobile wallet. So one of the cooler features, and I learned this when I was in Atlanta, I think, and it was like a kind of a trendy like area in Midtown or something, and they had a bar across the street. And some of the guys come in and they start their laundry and they go across to have a beer and watch a little bit of a game. Well, the problem the customers were having was like on a busy weekend, they might forget about the laundry for a little while, and you had a bunch of dryers that weren't making you any money, and then you have to go pull clothes out of them, and people get angry sometimes. You know, this is one of the dilemmas of a laundromat. But with the app, you will get notified when your load is done. So you come back, it's a nice reminder. It helps you with throughput, helps you with keeping customers coming and going. So I like to talk about the wash house. This is Nick Luzecki. He owned a Quantum Gold store. Does anybody have any Quantum Gold out there? It's there you go. It's a great, phenomenal product. Been out for a while now, and it's kind of our entry level control now that we have touch. But you know, some people prefer it. They are not ready for the touch product yet, and we have it if they want it. But Nick had this Quantum Gold store where the machines were getting 25 years old, 20 years old. Decided they were going to change them out. So he takes them out, he puts in touch, and his cycle modifiers. So on the Quantum Gold, on a lot of machines out there, the cycle modifier is like an extra button you have to hit to add like a feature to the wash, and it'll charge more. And realistically, because it's optional, probably about 6% of the time somebody's using that on average. What we found is that when we installed Quantum Touch, the modifier usage doubled, so it went to 12%. What that meant was actually very interesting. Like over a 7-year loan, that was enough to, it's enough to make, for Nick, I think it was over $12,000 of revenue a year that he wasn't getting before those modifiers came along. So anyway, Nick's got his app adoption rate up to 59 and 61%. That's incredible. Anything over 40 means you're hustling. You're really good at pushing the app. But so that means less quarters in the coin vaults, right? Less worry about collections having to be so frequent. And then he's also got customers earning loyalty points, things going on there. And he has access to customer data. Now, this is the important thing. If they're using the app now, you get their emails, their phone numbers. You know how often they come in, what their average spend is. You can really create marketing campaigns to target these customers and try to earn more revenue from them. So he's got a total of 463 app customers. He's got thousands in float created by his app users, and his customer spend increased when he went to the app. Went up 25%. It's the app and it's touch too. So he's got that competitive advantage that we're talking about. Like when you're in that sea of mediocrity, right? You're going to stand out. It's what you want. It happens in every industry. There's always you have features in technology that you don't have to turn on, but if you had to, you could turn them on, and you could be competitive. You can do things that older stores just can't do. So there's also a nice reduction of signage. When you have an LCD screen, it tells you everything that's going on. You don't need all this signage all over the place. And that's why we've been able to really clean up the look of this machine and take a lot of the labels off of it, because it can tell you what needs to happen now. So I like to point out that we have touch machines and app in a store called Little York. Been talking about it for a while. This is a Speed Queen store. It's in Houston. It's in a very high Hispanic area. Here's some creative things that they're done there is they've defaulted the language of the touch control to English and Spanish on every other machine. So every other machine would be Spanish defaulted, and they've just found that they have it kind of takes away some of the initial confusion of changing the language, and you can do that. So there's a lot of languages in a touch machine today. You can turn them all off, but 3 or 4 or 2 or whatever you want to do. It's very customizable. There's a mixture of quantum gold and touch in this store. It's 100% a Speed Queen app store. So they've removed the coin meters completely from the store, and everybody in there has to use the app or use a central pay kiosk called the Payment Center, which I'll show you later, where to start the equipment. That's kind of really thinking ahead down the road. They're going completely cashless, right? But it's possible with our technology. They have 3,500 app users, and they're getting about 12% cycle modifier usage. So there again, there's that number consistent from the other store. And the average spend went up 11% after adding the app to the store. So cycle modifiers, why are people using them more? Because when you walk up to the machine, they're right in your face. They're like right there. So think about years ago, I think I was going through a car wash, and everybody's done this, and they have the regular, the ultra, the super ultra, and it's an upsell. And if they're doing the right job, the prices are decent, but they do a good job explaining what you get for that. So that was the impetus of designing the touch control, to kind of go after that model to try to get the better ROI out of it. So you can see here the washer modifiers, and these are very customizable. You can turn them on, turn them off. You can choose whether you want to dispense soap or not. That's selectable inside the thing. You can even there's one custom cycle. You can call it a COVID cycle, or you can call it an ozone cycle. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You can rename it. You can say it's Bob's laundry cycle. I mean, whatever. But as of, I guess, about this time last year, I think we came out with a thing called the Deep Clean cycle, which is a Speed Queen exclusive, and basically we took that customizable cycle and we put a kind of setup for it for a, I hesitate to call it COVID killing, but it's it's a longer wash cycle with lots of rinses and lots of hot water. It's going to have a real high chance of knocking down the pathogens. And from somebody who used to work for Ecolab, I can promise you that, I mean, even if the washer did 90% of the work, the dryer's going to finish it. I mean, dryers get up to 160 degrees or whatever, it's going to kill it. So anyway, Speed Queen is leading the industry with our innovative solutions. So insights and touch. This is how it all breaks down. We talked about the app. There's also the owner dashboard and owner apps. So that would be like you logging in on an iPad or your Mac or your PC, and you can kind of see how your store is doing as a whole. Then we have a mobile version, which a lot of owners like the mobile version because it doesn't have all the functionality of the PC version, but it has just the right amounts of the easy stuff, so that if you wanted to go overseas and go on a European trip, you can actually run your laundromat from your phone if you had to. You can do things like issue refunds. You can advance cycles. You can review errors. I mean, it's pretty cool. So App Pay, we talked about that. POS, we have a POS solution through Speed Queen. We partnered with our friends at Clean Cloud, and it's integrated. We're looking for more integration with Clean Cloud over time, and right now, if you get the POS from Speed Queen, we will promise you basically, as we work with Clean Cloud on those integrations, you'll be getting them as they come out with that solution. So it's customer relationship management, the CRM. I talked briefly about this. So with the app users, you get their information, you can create campaigns. So I'll give you an example. If you can go through and filter your customers, and you can say that this list of customers, these 5 customers haven't been back in 35 days at the laundry, and that doesn't seem right to you, you can push a $5 redemption out just to those targeted customers, not to everybody, and say, come back to me and redeem $5 in the app. And not only that, you can look at the click-through of the success of that campaign, so you can see where they opened it, read it, and where they came back and they redeemed it. This was previously unthought of. And so if you really want to see how it works, reach out to us on the side. We can do what we call an onboarding, and we can do that before you buy, or we can do that after you're set up and open. And we can show you how to use these features and automate your business to be smarter. We mentioned marketing support. Some of the things that we're working on that you may not know of, as we have a new podcast out. And it's only a few episodes so far, but we plan on releasing one a month, I think. Listen and learn from multiple experts on the hottest topics in our industry. And it's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. But you got to search Laundromat Insights, those 2 words, Laundromat Insights. And please follow us. We'd like to get more of you guys on our show listening. So we're also coming out, and this is really maybe skunkworks right now, but we're working on it behind the scenes. We have a store owner portal coming soon, just for Speed Queen store owners. If you're a store owner, we're going to have some way to authenticate, verify you, create an account. You are a store owner. And then you're going to get access to a lot of, I would say, exclusive content that is just for you guys. It is not available to the public. Just marketing resources, service videos, guides. There's going to be a merchandise store where you can get Speed Queen apparel or whatever you want. Technology-related resources are good. Monthly content, webinars we do for customers, we're going to put up there. First view of new products would be cool. We're going to embed our podcast in there, and we're working on a thing called Speed Queen Magazine, so get more information out to you. So really, we're going to recap the product lineup as it stands today. We got Quantum Touch, available in 20, 30, 40, 60, 80, and 100-pound washers. That's our hard mount extractor, kind of the bread and the butter of the laundromat, I think. That and probably the stack tumbler. It's as far as the look is new, obviously, but underneath the hood, the welding, the way the frame is designed, the 200 G-force build, that's all the same. It's just a nice look, very clean look for Speed Queen products going forward. So for those that require soft mounts, for instance, if there were a basement underneath your laundromat somewhere, because there's hills in Tennessee, I know this, you don't do this in Florida, but we have soft mounts that could be on a second floor install. You know, obviously there's a place and a time for soft mounts. I sell a lot more of the hard mounts than the soft mounts, but we do have a soft mount lineup for if you did have a location that would require it. Stack washer extract tumbler. This is I call it a stacks unit. It's a hard mount washer with a tumbler over it. And honestly, a lot of applications for this thing in laundromats. I don't know, like an intended use area behind the counter. It's a very good use of space, being that it's kind of an all-in-one unit. But I could see a lot of place for this in a laundromat if you can fit in the profile of it. Gold hard mount washers. We were talking about gold equipment. We've recently kind of refreshed the gold. I think it looks great. We rebadged it. We've got this embossed ring that makes the door look so much bigger now. It's really a pretty look. So if you still want gold controls, we have them. Again, 20 to 100 pounds. And we still have a classic tumble dryer. So this is our older control for stack 30s and 45s. Now the touch version is definitely the one that is selling like hotcakes right now. But I want to talk briefly about the Payment Center. Payment Center is one why would I need a payment center in my store? Let's ask it like that. That's a good question. So I have customers coming into my store now with mobile pay. And what if they don't have a phone? Or what if they want to put money on their app? They have cash, they want to put money on. So this will do both of those things. So they'll come in, they can put cash on the app. You put like $20 into the payment center, and then your app will show $20 was added and whatever bonus rewards. But let's say they don't have a phone, they could do the transaction right here. They can pick the washer by number on the screen, and they could vend it. They could select their cycle and everything. So it's like a central pay kiosk also. So it does two things. And you know, this is a nice, I would say, it closes the loop on the ecosystem and makes it, because when we first came out with the app, we'd have a few customers come in and just don't have phones, you know, and now what are we going to do with them? So the solution for a while was that the attendant had the remote start the equipment from the POS or something. But here, this is our solution for unattended stores anyway. I also want to touch on, we have rebates that are very short-lived right now. These rebates happen to just timely be running out June 30th. There will be no more rebates for the rest of the year. So this is the time, if you're going to pull a trigger on some equipment, we need to get those orders in. Rebates will be going away, like I said, June 30th. So you've got a couple weeks to act on that. And also talk with Tommy in the other room if you want about it. He's going to come up here and go over our financing promotion, which also ends June 30th, by the way. So I had a couple of stores up here, and forgive me, I had some late adds to these slides, so I don't even have names for some of these stores. So I'll ask you in this room if somebody knows. I did get to meet Pat and Michelle last night. We went out to dinner, and I love looking at this store. This is really, this guy's a developer. I mean, when you develop from the ground up, this is what you can do. You know, you build from dirt. It's expensive to do that, and there's a lot of ramping anxiety, but you control every aspect of the deal, and it's definitely a cool look. And what I don't know, you think of it like a compliment to a community. You've created a community center for laundry that is impressive anyway. It's all touch. It's got digital signage, and great store. I had to throw that in last night when I got back from the restaurant. Here's one in Martin, Tennessee. A little different. It looks kind of like a woodsy lodge kind of look on the inside. I like it though. Beautiful touch equipment. I don't have Michael in here to tell me who these customers are. Is that you? Oh, okay. All right. What is your name, sir?
I'm Barrett Betts.
Barrett Betts.
My wife Lauren.
I'll try to add that in before I get to Knoxville. Thanks. he literally texted me the photos last night, but I didn't get the name in the place, so I wanted to stick it in there. But anyway, thank you all. I take a minute, and you guys got any questions for me or for the factory related to anything we can discuss? If I don't know them right here, I can't answer them online. I'll pull you aside and we'll try to solve it later. But any questions?
Where are the training videos for the insight?
That's great. So what I'll do is I'll get with Christine and we'll send you a link to that site. There is a public site where you can access those training. You're talking about technology training videos? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, she wanted to know. She wanted to know where the training videos were for technology. For those of you watching online, so I will get you that link and send it to you. I have it. I'll have Christine send it out to the group, and anybody interested online, just reach out to us and we'll send you that. Anything else?
That's the stack dryer and washer. That's soft mount or the hard mount?
It's a hard mount.
Hard mount.
Yeah, and it's pretty neat. Like it doesn't need a base, right? Base is built in.
It doesn't. We don't even.
Yeah. So it mounts right to the ground. Yep. Any other questions? All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
0.75%. And I would say that this floor of 4%, some people say, oh, well, my rate can't get lower than that. And that is true. It's a floor. But what it does also is it acts as kind of a fixed rate if rates were to start rising, which in my opinion, I don't think rates are going to be rising anytime soon. So what it does, if the Fed does start raise rates, today it's at 3.25, your payment, even if rates were going up, which typically the Fed raises by 1/4 point or so every time that they do raise rates or lower them, your rate wouldn't move, your payment wouldn't increase until the prime rate actually got above 4%. Then you're tagged at prime plus 1.75%. So it acts kind of as a fixed rate for a period of time during rising rates. For deals that are over $100,000, I can go up to 96 months, which is 8 years. If it's under $100,000, I can go out to 84 months, which is 7 years, which is typically what we do with finance. So 96 months for deals over 100K, deals over under 100K, 84 months. I can even go out 9 and 10 years on select deals. Obviously, the location's dynamite, the investor's strong, everything looks good, and the deal is at least $500,000. Then I can look at possibly doing a 9 or 10-year amort on that. It's an excellent cash flow promotion. It's really just to help you cash flow, low rate, and gives you time before you have to make payments. So that's the replacement promotion. Approval deadline, though, coming up. June 30th is the drop dead deadline for getting these deals in and approved. And we can do that. If you want to come see me today, I'm in the back here. If you're going to buy some washers or dryers or whatever, come back and see me and let me see if I can get you approved right away today. The funding deadline is July 30th. Now, we're a little bit flexible on that. You do need to get it approved by the end of the month. But we're flexible on the funding deadline because there's been some delays on lead times with new equipment. So we got flexibility there. So the show promotion, you can utilize the first one I've talked about, or you can utilize this one that I brought too, which is no payment for the first 90 days. So first payment's due day 90, obviously. It's also 0% for the first 6 months, which includes that 90 days. So there's no interest accruing on this one for that first 6 months. You do make payments, after the 90-day period, but it's 0%. And then it's Wall Street Journal Prime plus 2.74% or 5.99%. So you get the benefit of not a deferral period, but a no payment period coupled with a 0% interest, just a little bit of a higher rate, 5.75 versus 5.99%. So both have merits, both are good deals. It's up to you. You want to choose one of the other one? Absolutely up to you. And I can consult you on that as well. And again, deals over $100,000 can go to 96 months. If it's under $100,000, I can go to 84 months. 9 and 10-year terms available again for those select deals that are bigger and everything looks good. And again, another excellent cash flow promotion with an attractive rate, especially the 0%. Again, applications received 1 week prior to the show for this promotion and only 1 week after. So we're up against a deadline where we got a week left. A week from today, I have to have the application in. I have to have it approved also by June 30th, and again, a little flexibility on the funding side because of the lead times. Again, those two promotions are for replacement deals only. Like I said, I've also brought a new store promotion. So if you're thinking about doing a new store or you're close to doing a new store, I can help you out as well. On this one, I have 90 days deferred. First payment is due day 90. Follow that up with 16 months of interest-only payments. Why would I do that? New stores take time to ramp up, right? So it gives you 16 months of making smaller payments than the main payment that you'll be making after that. It gives you time to ramp that business up before the full payment comes into play. I can do Wall Street Journal plus 3%. That's 6.25%. Obviously, the rate's a little bit higher than the replacement promotions. Why would that be? There's more risk, right? Replacement, you got an existing cash flowing store. I can have a lower rate because there's less risk. New stores, you have a little bit more risk, so the rate's a little bit higher. But I will say, our portfolio, we can't remember even the staggering amount of number of loans that we have on under our management and the dollars that we funded. We've funded close to $2 billion in loans and laundries over the years. Our default rate is less than 1%. We know what we're doing. This is a solid industry, and you know, it's not often that stores go away. So it's a stable industry, and I can offer a very competitive business loan at 6.25%. Again, 9 and 10-year terms are available for the larger deals. Obviously, new stores are bigger deals, so we have more of the new store deals coming under that 9 or 10-year bucket. Provides you ramp-up time before you have to make that full payment. Again, I have to get it approved, though, by June 30th, so the clock's ticking on that one. And funding deadline is December 20th. Obviously, it takes a lot more time to do a new store than it does a replacement deal. So any questions on the promotions, the replacement or the new store promotions? Okay? And if you do have questions, again, I'll be back there. But let's talk about acquisition financing. So you want to build your second store. You want to get that third store. You want to buy that existing store over here. I can help you build that empire by utilizing our acquisition finance program. So what it is, the terms are the following. It's 6.99% variable rate. So you're buying this existing store, right? Maybe it's 8 years old. Equipment's not too bad a shape. It's a pretty good deal. I can go 6.99 variable rates, prime plus 3.74%. So if you're going to retool it, what we call a major retool, doesn't have to be everything, could be. Or if you're just looking to do all the washers, replace the old washers, put in the new washers. Dryers typically last longer than the washers, right? You see that all over the place. So maybe you're just going to retool all the washers. We call that a major retool. I can drop that a full point down to 5.99% if you do a major retool on the store as well. There's 1% acquisition fee, which we just capitalize into the amount borrowed. So if it's a $500,000 loan, for instance, it's $5,000 just gets capitalized into the loan balance. If the equipment is less than 10 years old, I can go out to as far as 84 months. And if it's less or older than 10 years, I can go out to a maximum of 5 years. Makes sense, right? I mean, putting money, a loan on equipment that's older than 10 years is probably not the smartest idea because its life expectancy is near the end. So I can go longer terms on younger equipment, right? Seems pretty simple. I can also finance 100% of the new equipment purchase. So let's say you're doing that major retool of replacing all the washers in the store right after the acquisition. I'll finance 100% of that equipment, and I'll also talk about on the next slide, what I can do on the acquisition side. And obviously what we'll do is we're going to take and make sure that the debt that we're putting on this acquisition and the retool of the equipment, that the store can handle that, right? It can handle the debt. So let's take a look. Let's start at the bottom. So you're acquiring a non-Alliance branded store, doesn't have Alliance equipment in it, and you're not going to do a retool. Like we talked earlier today, Roger, right? I could do up to I could loan up to 65% of the loan to value. Whatever we value that store to be, I could go up to 65%. Meaning you would come up with 35% of whatever that acquisition is, or whatever you're paying for it, you're paying above. I can do up to 65% on what I value that store to be. If you're acquiring an Alliance branded store and you're not doing a retool, again, look, this time I'll go up to 70% loan to value. Whatever I value that store at, I can go up to 70% and you come up with the balance. If it is an Alliance branded store and you're going to do an immediate retool, be it just all the washers or some major retool involved, I'll go up to 75% loan to value and you come out of pocket 25% or whatever the balance is. If it's a non-Alliance branded store and you are doing an immediate retool, it's not my brand, you're an acquiring, I want my brand in that store, I'll help you out. I'll go out to 80% loan to value and you come up with the balance. Make sense? Okay. So please keep this in mind the next time you're looking to acquire an existing store. And hey, right, we know new locations are getting harder and harder to find, right? There's stores all over the place. A lot of old stores that, you drive by every day. Man, if I had that location, I know I could make it 10 times better than it is today. Don't forget, you got the acquisition finance program here with me. Let's talk about equity finance. Now this one, so the acquisition finance program, a lot of people are starting to use that, but still, we're getting the word out there. But the one that's even less familiar with people is that we offer equity financing. So similar to your home, right? You get a loan, you buy a home, you get a loan, you put 20% down or whatever it is. Over time, you're making those loan payments. You know, that loan balance is going down, and what are you doing? You're building equity in your home, right? And you can, if you want, pull some equity out of that for whatever you want to do. You can always pull home equity out. Well, you know what? You own laundromats. You buy a laundromat or build a laundromat, you get a loan, you put down X, right? Over time, you're doing the same thing. You're paying me, and what are you doing? You're building equity in your laundromat. So why? That's a good source to pull some funds out if you want to go get that next store. So you have some cash, but you don't have all the cash to do the next store deal. I can help you out with the equity that might be in your laundry too. So keep that in mind. Again, on this one, I can provide up to a maximum of 65% loan to value of your store. What we value your store to be, I can value it up to 65%. Less any existing debt. Say you owe us $100,000. I value your store at $500,000. You still owe us $100,000. You have what in equity? $400,000, right? So you use your laundromat as equity, right? That's the collateral that I use. It has to be an Alliance branded store though. If you own some other brand, I can't use your store as equity. If it's got my brand in there, I can use it as equity. And the finance terms mirror those of the acquisition program that we just talked about. So equity financing, now let's take a walk through something you're gonna love after eating lunch, a spreadsheet. Who loves watching numbers like I do? All right, well, I'm gonna try and make it entertaining anyways. So this is an example. This is basically a pro forma, or you can call it, it's a spreadsheet of your income and expenses, right? It's a P&L basically. So I know it's very hard to see, but here's year one, and I'm just using that as an example. Here's your revenue. In this case, this store is doing, can you focus that a little bit? The store is doing, I think it's like $254,000 annually in revenue, okay? So there's the money in. Then all of this in here is all the money out. It's all the expenses, your rent, your utilities, the labor. On an annual basis, and I got a cash flow number. That's your EBITDA number, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, meaning everything before having to pay taxes, pay your loan, and etc. Right? So that's your cash flow. It's worth some multiple of that annual cash flow number, some multiple of the EBITDA number. Doesn't matter what business we're talking about, the same here. So in our industry, what we do typically is we value laundromats anywhere from 3 to 5 times that annual number. All right? So 3 to 5 times that $84,000 is what we in the industry view the range for what stores are worth. So you might say, well, okay, well, what makes a store worth 3? What makes a store worth 5, etc. So stores closer to the 3 are stores that, there's not much time left on the lease. The parking's not very good. The equipment's really old. All the things that are negative that we all know, lower that valuation down more towards 3. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't stores that sell for less than 3 times cash flow, right? And that doesn't mean that there are stores that don't sell for more than 5 times cash flow. It's whatever the market will do is what it's worth, basically, is what are you willing to pay. But for valuation purposes, we use anywhere from 3 to 5 times. So to get closer to the 5 times that annual cash flow number, the equipment's in good order, it's not very old, it's got a lot of time left on the lease, the parking's great, easy to get in and out, right? So the value of that store is worth more than the store that's old. So that's how you value it. Anywhere from 3 to 5 times that number, and that's what we use in our finance department. So, in this case, I'm saying, okay, it's an older store, there's not a lot of time left on the lease, the parking's terrible. I'm gonna value this more towards the 3, and if I'll go 3.5 times that number. And I think I've got 200, it's like 256, I think it says here. As I value that store at $256,000 at 3.5 times that number, annual number. You owe us 100 grand yet on the loan though, so I got to subtract that out. And I'm left with, what, $156,000? That's what you have in equity in this example. And I could do 65% of that, right, as what I value that, so you could pull out that amount of money for your next store. What if I valued the store at 5 times EBITDA? That's 5 times the 84, that's 424,000. 65% of that is the loan to value. I say that's worth 275,000 in my eyes. It's worth 424, but 60. That existing store, you have, let's say you need 300, just as an example, you need $300,000 down on this new store that you're going to buy. You have $125,000. You need another $175,000. You just found it in your store, and I use that as we just add that debt to this store. Make sure this store can handle that debt. Number one, and number two, your new store can handle the new debt too. So you kind of with me there? There's a lot of numbers. It's hard to see. You just ate. Who doesn't love math? So anyways, I just want you to know there's equity and acquisition financing available for you to get those multiple stores down the road. Also, financing has never been easier. You can get pre-approved for up to $250,000 if you've owned your store for at least 3 years, and one-page credit application. If certain things check out. Credit score, comparable borrowing. There's a couple other metrics that we look at, but you can get pre-approved with a one-page credit application on a replacement transaction, or even if you're looking to do a new store. Loan documents now are electronically delivered. We use DocuSign. That's been tremendous. You know, instead of having to send them in the mail to you or have, you know, Michael Davis or somebody come to your store with all a stack of papers and have you sign the docs, we just do them via DocuSign. So it's simple, it's easy, and it's quick. So with that avalanche of numbers after lunch, any questions regarding the promotions, the equity or acquisition financing? Okay, so I am back in that back room, and if you guys are going to buy some equipment, please come see me and let's talk about finance. Thank you very much.
talking to you about. If anybody wants one, or for your kids or anybody else, they're just Star Distributing. This is what a lot of our service technicians wear, but we have quite a few of these back there. So if anybody wants one of these, feel free to let us know. We have different sizes and all. Just something to offer. Next, I would like to introduce Joy. She's with Optima, and they do it's kind of an interesting story of how they found us. Joy's had a counterpart previously that drove by one of my laundromats in Columbia, Tennessee, an hour away from here. It's the smallest laundromat I have. She said, hey, we can really enhance your business with this Google advertising, not really advertising, but Google placement and making sure everything's in Google correctly and what have you. And I said, well, why don't you come up and, I said, well, you know, she was in Columbia, and she goes, no, I'll just drive up and see you. So she drove up an hour to come and see me. She had no idea I was in the distribution business, and I sold equipment for hundreds of laundromats or thousands of laundromats all over the state. So she came up and saw me, and I said, it's hard for me to accept new meetings and what have you, because I think I know what's going on and what have you. But when they came in, or she came in, she told me what she did. And I said, well, you know what? I don't want to do it for just this one, but I want to do it for all three of my laundromats. And then I said, you know, we're also the distribution company. We have these open houses where a lot of our customers come in. Before that, nobody was really on Google too well. Everybody thinks they are, but they really, until you get a professional company that actually handles your listings and makes sure everything's appropriate and correct and address and the maps and everything work properly, it's really a difficult thing to accomplish. But when she did it, she did it for my three, and I said, this is working so well. Why don't you come to our open house and tell our customers about this? Now, almost every single store that we've opened since then has had the Google Optima program. And when I build a new store for people now, I just include it, because I'm like, you cannot spend all this money to build a new store and not have this Google Optima program, because this is what gets you started and what gets you off the ground. So the last few stores that we've opened have been some of the most expensive stores we've ever opened. We're talking 5, 6, 7, 800,000. We've even up to that range. And these stores, I hate to tell you, but these stores broke even in their first month, the first 2 months, which is unheard of. It used to take 6 months to ramp things up. But a big part of it was about Google, because we start the advertising a couple months beforehand. So people know this laundry is coming well before it ever comes. And when the store opens, customers just flock in. It's a game changer, especially for new stores. But for existing stores, if you don't have it, you absolutely need to get it, because I don't make any money off of this. This is just a service that we found that enhances my businesses. And so I use it for all three of my laundromats. I use it for Star Distributing, and I use it for Parts Keying. So I pay 5 times, and I don't get a discount. I pay the same rate for all 5. So if you build a new store, I include it, but if you don't, some of the people in the room have it. I think they would be good testimonials as well. And we can actually ask for a couple testimonials maybe at the end and just see how people have liked it. But Joy, hopefully I didn't take too much of what you're going to talk about.
Thank you so
please
much.
Please go right ahead, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. These are awesome. I want to open a laundromat. I've been saying that for 2 years now. I am Joy Cordle, and I am the digital marketing manager for Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama. I do work with businesses outside of that area also, because I can do things over Zoom and through emails. So anybody that has any questions afterwards, I'll be glad to meet you in the back and answer anything that you have. So I'm going to talk to you today about 2 different products. Google Street View, which is the virtual see inside tours that Google has brought into existence about 7-8 years ago, and it's been ramping up on the map systems because it is attached to not just your business listing but also to Google Maps, and it's on your Google profile. So it's a really cool product, and it's a one and done product. I don't know why this isn't moving. See if I put, okay, I'll just push it here. This one, it's okay. So we are American Marketing and Publishing. We are the largest Google Street View trusted agency. We are a family-owned business, and we are in 14 states. We have 17 offices in 14 states. And we work with a lot of we work with any size business, but a lot of small business owners. What is the Google Street View Trusted program? It uses the same exact technology as the traditional Google Street View, where you can just follow the maps down the road, except this goes inside of your business. So you can show off your new laundromat or the new products, you can update it whenever you call. We can come and redo a virtual tour, and it will update your street view. Because a lot of the laundromats that I've worked with, even that were in existence, whenever the Google car came by, they took of a field, so there's no business shown on there, or it's the one next door, because they aren't really precise about what they're taking pictures of. So we make sure to update that for you with your Google Street View. They are conducted by a badge certified, Google certified photographer, and with that, it will go onto your official Google business listing, to Google Maps, and it's mobile friendly for that add photos to their listing are 42% more likely for requests, Google Maps, and 35% more clicks through to the websites. So it's really important to have good imagery. A picture says 1,000 words, right? And it really is true. People choose off of that and reviews. Those are the two big things. Business listings with photos and a virtual tour are twice as likely to be clicked to. Together with the virtual tour, you're also going to get still imagery that will go across all of the search engines that we will upload it to Google Maps, and then it will be emailed to you for you to put wherever you'd like to put it. It's your material at that point. You can embed the tour on your Facebook page, on your website, whatever you'd like to do with that. These are just some examples of the photography. This is how it comes to you for you to download and save that material for you to use. It's really high quality photos, so you can use it for any other advertising, whether it's print or billboards or magazines, whatever you'd like to use it for. These are a couple of examples that should be Old Hickory, Tennessee. A couple of examples of the number of views for a virtual tour, because I've had people ask, do people really look at a virtual tour of a laundromat? Yes, they do. And we keep up with those numbers. So this is as of June 1st. This laundromat from March 26th of 2019 had 27,347 views. And in order for it to count as a view, it has to be clicked through at least twice into the tour. So they do get views. People want to see where they're going before they get there. Here's one of the Big Wash in Columbia, 13,816. And that's from November 27th, 2018 to June 1st, 2021. These are the two usual price points for Google Street View. There are some larger ones, but for most laundromats, you fall into one of these. It goes off of the square footage, the number of panos. And then the stills are different. 5 to 10, 10 to 15. And those still images can be of whatever you'd like. If you have a wrapped vehicle, or if you want to do a family photo, or I've had some business owners that do it with their dogs, whatever you want to have some pictures, or if you want headshots for business cards, you can do whatever you'd like. So then that was Google Street View. That is a one and done. So you don't ever have to, you can update it, and Google encourage you to every 2 to 3 years, especially if you get new equipment or things. I know I've redone Mike's a couple of times when he's added new equipment, but you don't have to. It remains a permanent part of your online footprint with Google. But then Optima is my favorite of our products because of what it does whenever it comes to people searching for you. You've got your location, you've bought your equipment. Now, how are people going to find you rather than you having to go find your customers? So this allows you to be searchable, credible, and professional online on the different search engines: Google, Yelp, Bing, Apple Maps, Foursquare, Manta, Merchant Circle, Nextdoor, TripAdvisor, ChamberCommerce.com. And those do change. And when you're on our Optima program, because Google, it chooses the 8 search engines that Google deems credible. When that changes, we change that for you, and you don't even have to worry about it. So organic listings are where you want to be found. These are the unpaid listings. They have a 20 times higher click-through rate. Consumers have trained themselves. I mean, I'm one, and I know my mom even, that isn't a big computer person at all. They don't look at the paid ads, because we've kind of been trained to that by now. So this is your critical space, is right underneath the map in the local listings. That's where you want to come up. That's what it looks like on a cell phone. Local and organic listings, 95% of the search population. This is just more numbers, and it shows when the customer goes online how moving up in search results impacts your ability to bring in more revenue. Moving from second to first increases your customers to 226%. So it's a big difference just how high you're coming up in those search results. Complete business profiles drive direct connections, 2.7 times more likely to be considered reputable, 70% more likely to attract local location visits, and 50% more likely to lead to a purchase. So it's a big deal that you look findable, credible, and professional online. Over the past year, it's really even more so because people aren't going searching for those things, they're looking online. We professionally verify and enhance your local listings, your NAP data, which is your name, address, phone number, your business hours. We write a professional written natural language business description, all the special services that make you different from your competitors, whatever that may be, your years in business, your logo, and the photos, videos if you want to add them, you can do different things. We also clean up, supplement, and resubmit any of the above items that were listed for anything, because I've seen lots of different types of businesses, but over the past couple of years, a lot of laundromats that have had incorrect listings on some of the search engines, whether it's Yelp or Google or Bing. If their Apple Maps doesn't have the right hours, all that, we make sure it's perfectly consistent across the board. There's 5 factors that Google uses to rank listings: accuracy, consistency, uniqueness, freshness, and authority. And those are the things that we focus on for every business that we work with. This is what you want to look like, and this is looking it up by the name of the business. So it'll come up on the dashboard. And this is a categorical search and how it would come up underneath the map. So if I'm just looking at laundromats in Columbia, Tennessee. The other thing we focus on is reputation management, because in this day and age, people really are looking at your star reviews online, and they make choices based on that. And not having any reviews leaves you at the mercy of one upset customer. It really does. So proactive management of your online reputation, it's good business, and it's a fundamental part of your business in 2021. This is what 5 to 9% increase in revenue for whenever you're managing your reputation online, and going up by each star really does increase your revenue. So we help you stay on top of those reviews in a couple of ways. We provide you with these. I got Mike's for Parts King and for Star Distributing. These are the review management cards. You're sent these in the mail, so you have hard copies, but you also get a digital review link that you can email as well. Text, you can do it different ways, but it has the QR codes for people to be able to go directly there and leave a review where they don't have to search for you themselves. It makes you aware of every review, so you're going to get once a week a email that has all your 4- and 5-star reviews, and you can use a portal that we provide, which you'll see here in a minute, to respond to those. You also, in real time, 3-star or below, you'll get an email in real time letting you know that review was left, where it was left, and you can respond, and you also have an account manager to help you handle those things. Here's the sites that we pull reviews from. So there's over 20 of those. Then this is what that email looks like that you get, where you can click right here on your access, and it'll go straight to where those reviews are held. And I told you about the cards and the review link. There's another example. So it helps promote those positive reviews by aggregating it to a www.com website, that if you already have a website, it can be just a review link, and we can give you the widget to embed in your website, or it can be a freestanding website. We have lots of laundromats that use the testimonial page as their website because it is considered a true website because it has its own domain. And we collect and redisplay those reviews, the 4 and 5 star, on that site. You do have an account manager that's assigned to you, so you don't have to call and retell your story over and over to different people. You have the same person that you talk to each time, which makes it really easy to work with. This is an example of the consolidated that tells where it's coming from. So if they were to click on that, it would take them directly to the reviews. So it's not fake reviews, which you see on some websites. At times, I've seen that. So the testimonial page is built where it's mobile friendly. So it's optimized for the mobile, whether it's an iPad or iPhone or Android, it doesn't matter. It will show up looking like the website that you want it to look like. Promote your great reputation because it has a testimonial tab. You get to choose your www.com. So it is a real website. And 68% of local customers are influenced by positive reviews on those websites. So it's really important. And when you're pulling them from everywhere, a lot of people don't realize the reviews you've got all over the place. This keeps your finger on the pulse of your business online. It's your digital real estate. That's an example of one of the testimonial pages where it's got the home, about, services, imagery, testimonials, posts, and the contact information. There's another example. They all come with lead capture, so if someone wants to ask a question in the middle of the night, or they don't feel like calling, you'll get that in real time too to your email. And this is an example of it. At 10:06 a.m., I'm not currently a customer, but wish to come use the facility this week. What is the cost using the machines? Thanks so much. So you can respond to those. We do it all for you. So all you have to do is sign up, and then we will do, the only thing you have to do is answer the phone when we call to do verification for where you're located. And also, in order for you to talk to your rep for her to be able to add new keywords and new photos and things like that to keep you updated. It's $13.50 a year for Optima. And that includes your testimonial page, all your keywords and all of the search engines, and gives you that account manager to assist you with things throughout the year. So that's an annual fee. When you're doing it with the Google Street View, you get $100 off the Google Street View. And then we use those professional pictures on all of the sites and your testimonial page. We do have a Plus Social program that's $17.99 that does Facebook too. So that is what I have for y'all. If you have any questions, or if anybody does, you're welcome to come back and talk to me in the back. I appreciate your time.
That work? I've never really worn one.
How's it going, Mark? Everything's great, yeah. It's been a good day. It's been a good year, actually. Guess you're ready? Yeah. Sure beats that. Nothing, that's not hard to beat last year.
Did you give it to me?
It's on a flash drive.
I know, not quite where we thought we would be right now, but well, San Francisco's, I mean, they're killing it, you know. Yeah, I know it. Okay, next up is John Kelly. He's with Setomatic. They have a product called Spider Wash. I think most people in this room have that product, and it's really good. So let's be a refresher for some of you, and some of you who may not have it. I think you absolutely need some type of credit card acceptance for laundromats. Absolutely, you have to. We've been preaching this now. John, how long has Spider Wash been out? Do you know?
2009 is when we introduced Spider Wash. We've been in business since also 1958, or 68, excuse me. And we've had Spider Wash out for 12 years.
Yeah, okay. That's about what I thought. So I have Spider Wash in all of my stores, all 3 of them. Every machine I have has a Spider Wash reader on it. So we accept credit cards, debit cards, of course, and everything else, all other types of payments. We accept coins too, because it's still, to me, coins is still an instrumental part of the business. But I'll let John kind of tell you more about the product. But we're a firm believer in it because we use it ourselves. So please give John your attention, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
So thank you guys all for coming, and thank you to Michael and the Star team for putting together such a great show. They always do a fantastic job here, get a great turnout, so thank you guys for that. Quick introduction for me. My name is John Kelly. I'm the Director of Sales with Setomatic Spider Wash. I've been at the company for 4 years, and prior to that, I actually worked for Speed Queen for 5 years. So I got to meet Michael and the Star team for the first time back in 2012, working hand in hand. So thank you again for having us, and I'll get into this. So the first thing I want to talk about is, technology in the laundry industry. We seem to always be a little bit further behind the rest of retail. Speed Queen is one of the pioneers with the networking, one of the first to do it, and everyone kind of played catch up to that. So I just want to make sure you guys understand who we are as a company. We've been in business since 1968, a family-owned company based in Long Island, New York. Originally headquartered and founded in New York. And for the first 30 years or so, we focused primarily on making coin drops for laundry machines. We still make them to this day. A very popular part of our business for small chassis machines, your top-load washers, small dryers. And then, as technology evolved and time started to change, we changed with them. And in 1995, we came up with the first credit card payment system for commercial laundromats. And 2009 was really the big change. Michael just mentioned it, but that's when we came up with Spider Wash. So Spider Wash, the whole idea for Spider Wash is to give you as the laundromat owner the ability to accept any kind of payment that you choose. So what Michael just said, I think that as long as quarters are printed in America, quarters are going to have a place in laundry. But you as the owner can make that decision for yourself and for your market. If you want to still accept quarters, you can do that. If you want to get rid of quarters, you can do that too. So our system allows you to accept any combination of quarters, credit cards, debit cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, and loyalty cards. The next big change I want to go to is what we showed at the Clean Show. So some of you may have seen this at the Clean Show, possibly the last time we were here at the Star Show. I think I may have displayed it then. But we went into mass production May of 2020 on our new EMV capable reader. So the big difference here, and I have these displayed live at my table, but the big difference here between the new EMV capable reader and our previous generation, really twofold. One, there's a 2.8-inch color display screen, so it's got a much more modern look and feel. And two, right below the enter button, we have the slot for the EMV chip, credit, and debit cards. So that's something we've been asked about for several years, and we finally said, if the customers are asking, we'll provide it. So one thing to note with that though, that functionality is not turned on at this point. We've been going through the certification process, which is very extensive for over a year now. With COVID, unfortunately, it slowed us down a little bit. So we do expect that EMV chip slot to be activated by the end of this year. But I'll talk more about the EMV chip card versus the contactless card versus the mag strap card in the next couple slides here. But for the new EMV reader or the previous generation gray readers, which I'm sure a lot of you do have, this will be applicable to both of the products. So again, they'll accept any form of payment you choose. So any combination of credit cards, debit cards, loyalty cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Samsung Pay. And one of the key features of the SpiderWash payment system is we are the only card system out there that accepts the contactless credit and debit cards. I'll talk about that more on my next slide, but that's going to be very important for the, sort of this year, the next 3 years, next 5 years, and I'll explain that in a few seconds here. We also have a SpiderWash mobile app that allows your loyalty card customers to create an account. They can add value to their accounts. They can check their transaction history. If you're doing any loyalty programs, they can also track their progress there. And you can also issue the loyalty cards for your employees, or if you're doing wash, dry, fold, to help manage that and make your life a little bit easier. Also on the back end, on the SpiderWash operator portal, you have the full accountability. So there's about 15 different revenue reports. You can give refunds, check your customer list and send them emails. And finally here, the SpiderWash payment system is compatible with pretty much every make and model of commercial washer and dryer. Doesn't make a difference really what brand it is, how old it is. Of course, we prefer the Speed Quit equipment, but if you have any older equipment, maybe a different brand, if you're looking at acquiring an existing store, you can probably put SpiderWash on it. Our technical support manager, Frank Palladino, he's been with the company for 42 years, and I think he said that there's been one machine he couldn't convert, and that was like a 1968 Milner machine that probably was 35, 40 years past its prime. So if it can accept quarters, there's a good chance we can make it accept SpiderWash. The contactless credit and debit cards, this is going to be one of the most important things to consider if you're looking at putting on a payment system. In North America, we take our payment queues from overseas, so Europe and China. If you guys think about your credit, your own personal credit and debit cards, you probably think of the chip insert. When you went to that, they were probably doing that. We went to the chip cards 7, 8 years ago, and they were doing that overseas in Europe and Asia 5 years before that. So we always kind of play a little bit of catch up versus other countries, other continents. So with the contactless cards, they've been accepting those overseas for several years now. We're finally catching up. I think the first contactless credit card I got was back in early 2019, maybe late 2018. And that's signified by right here, the little wavy Wi-Fi symbol. If it has that on your card and it has that on your payment terminal, that means that they're compatible. So all you would do is go up to the payment terminal, and you can actually try it on our display back there. But if your card has that symbol, you can go up to it, hold it about an inch in front, and it processes the transaction that way. So rather than inserting it or swiping it, that's how it's completed. Visa expects by the end of this year there to be more than 300 million contactless cards in the US. With COVID, that's been sped up a little more even. They were trying to go from the chip card to the contactless card prior to COVID. And then of course, people, a little more conscious about what they're touching, where they're touching things. So this has been a really important feature for us and for laundromat owners that have SpiderWash. So tap and go, as they call it, another name for contactless. This is becoming the fastest and most convenient way to pay, and that's a SpiderWash exclusive feature. NFC payments. NFC stands for Near Field Communication, so that refers to your mobile payments. So every SpiderWash reader is set up to accept Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Samsung Pay. So when this product first came out in 2009, this technology, mobile pay, didn't really exist. Apple Pay came out in September 2014. Its competitors followed suit shortly thereafter. But every SpiderWash device dating back to 2009, there are pictures in the hallway of our original black card readers, and some of you may have them or may have had them at one point. Those will accept Apple Pay. So our president of our company had the foresight to kind of see how things were changing, taking a look overseas and how people were paying in Europe and Asia, and incorporating that technology into our system. So any SpiderWash device can accept mobile payment. These are the apps that probably everyone in here has. You may not even know it. Me, for example, I'm an Apple Pay user. So when I bought an iPhone, the first thing they did was say, enter your credit card so you can buy things in the iTunes store and the App Store, and then to use Apple Pay. So most people have one of these 3 payment methods, whether they know it or not. And then the SpiderWash EMV reader. I'm sure everyone's familiar with going to a store, whether it's 7-Eleven, Walmart, Target, Walgreens, and inserting your card rather than swiping it. So again, that functionality, the hardware is built in. All we need is that final certification, which we're expecting by the end of this year for that to be activated. This is accepted at almost 3 million different retailers. Like I said, anywhere you go, you've probably inserted your card somewhere. But the whole goal with the SpiderWash payment system and incorporating, the old magstripe way, kind of the current EMV chip insert and the contactless, we sort of look at that as the past, present, and future, along with the mobile pay. And we know that if you're investing the money in a system like ours, you got to make sure you're avoiding obsolescence. So what the main payment method was in 2017 probably is not going to be the same in 2021, 2023, 2025, and so on. So we want to make sure that anything that we're putting out into the field, we're confident that's going to hold up for you guys long term. And for your customers who may not have a credit card or a debit card or aren't comfortable with mobile pay, we also have the loyalty card option. So we can do a lot of cool things with the SpiderWash loyalty cards. You can offer percentage bonuses for people who add value to their cards. So for example, you could set it up, Roger, you could say anyone who puts $20 in the card, we'll do an extra 10% bonus or 25% bonus or whatever number you choose for that bonus. One of our newer features we added probably 3 or 4 months ago now is the special category groups. So for example, you could set it up where if you wanted to run a special and give the special category cards to first responders or teachers or military members, you can set it up where they get a discount at the machine. So instead of going to this machine and maybe a $4 vend, if I'm in that special category, they give me a 50% discount, it'll charge me $2 off my card. So that's a newer feature that is available on the SpiderWash loyalty cards. And we have the cards available in just the generic SpiderWash logo, or else you guys can actually put your own laundromat logo on the front and then your contact information on the back. If you have multiple stores, or if you live in an area, if the store is in an area with a lot of renters and you want to just create that brand recognition, that's a great option. And I mentioned in one of the first couple slides, you can also use these cards for your attendants. So you could issue your employees cards for emergencies. If you're doing wash, dry, fold, you can also give your wash, dry, fold people the cards as well. That's just a good way for you guys to make sure you don't have a silent partner, so to speak. Anytime they use that card, it's time-stamped and dated, so there's not a secret hand in your pocket. So great resource for you as the owner to make sure everyone is doing exactly what they say they're doing and being honest with the money. One of my favorite personal features with our system is the ease of our loyalty programs. So we have what we call the free wash program. You as the owner would pick the number. Most people do buy 9 washes, get the 10th for free. So how that works is I go into the store, I swipe my card for the first time, and I'm automatically enrolled in the free wash program. So if it says, if it's buy 9 washes, the 10th is free. When I swipe my card or if I tap my card for the first time, it'll say on the reader, 9 washes to go. Next time, 8 washes to go. And it counts it down right on the screen for the customer. That has come to be extremely important because a lot of the feedback we've gotten is that doing it any other way can be complicated for the end user. And I'm sure you guys have all had experiences with customers where they may not be the brightest or the most patient, and they get easily confused and angry and maybe start causing problems. So we try and make this as foolproof as possible. If it says 5 washes to go, they have 5 washes till they get a free wash. Rather than doing it on a point system where you could say a 40-pound washer is 10 points and a 50-pound washer is 20 points, and once they get to 100, they get it for free. Now we're having them do math. Not great, right? So we've tried to make this as easy as possible for the end user. And here in the bold red, this is one of the coolest things in my opinion with our system, is you have the option as the owner to set this up for your loyalty card customers or your credit debit users, or both. So me, for example, I would not want to buy a loyalty card, but I want a reason to go to Roger's store over Joe's store. So if I can go and use my own credit card, that's pretty good. I swipe my Visa card, it says 9 washes to go. I come back next week, swipe it again, 8 washes to go. So they're automatically enrolled. It's very easy for the end user and just makes things super convenient for them. So our goal was to have a solution, a loyalty solution for every type of customer. Again, I may be a strict credit card user, Roger may be an Apple Pay person, Joe may be a cash person. This way we all have some kind of reward we can earn, and it gives a kind of a reason to stay loyal to that store. And again, just to reiterate, SpiderWash is the only system that does allow the loyalty programs with credit and debit cards. So for the loyalty card customers, there are a couple ways for the customer to actually get the loyalty card, and then a couple other ways for them to add value to the card. One, probably the simplest, you can see back there on my table, the SpiderWash card kiosk. This is a pretty basic machine by design. Again, simplicity for the end user. They can buy a card, they can add value to the card, they can check their balance. Pretty much it. Again, simple by design. Once they have that card, they can also go to spiderwash.com or use the SpiderWash mobile app, and they can add value to the card. So on the website or the app, they can go and add money to the card, they can check their transaction history, check their card balance, and you as the owner have the ability to show the machine availability as well. So I would say that this feature is probably more heavily used for apartment laundries or hotel guest laundries. But it's a free feature, doesn't cost you anything. So you as the owner would set up a passcode, you would post it in the store or have your attendants give it out. And that way the customers can go onto the app. They can say, oh, my machine has 10 minutes left. I'll go out, get a quick soda, come back. The next couple things here I just want to show you real quick. I got a couple slides left is some of the back end stuff. So everything we covered so far has mostly been for the end user, the customer interface. And now we'll talk a little bit about how it makes your life easier as the owner in terms of management. So on the SpiderWash operator portal, there's about 15 different revenue reports. You can check these reports from any device, any phone, tablet, computer. Don't have to have an on-site server. Anywhere in the world you can log in and see your store data in real time. So you can, excuse me, all the transactions are timestamped and dated. So you can see exactly what credit card was used at what time or what attendant card was used at what time. If I'm Roger's attendant and he said, hey, did you use your employee card today? And I say no, he could go onto the portal, type in my card number, and see if I'm telling the truth or not. So that's some peace of mind for you guys, knowing that you can keep an eye on the employees. Same thing if I'm a customer. If I say, hey, this machine charged me, I swiped through your $4 machine, it charged me $600, I want a refund. You can check that very quickly and see if the person's telling the truth or not. You can also, if you are doing coin, and in addition to the credit card, debit card, loyalty card, you can also set it up to email you when your coin boxes are filling up, just to help you streamline your process a little bit. And all these reports can be exported to an Excel file. So during tax time, I know that's very helpful for a lot of people to make that a little bit easier. Here's a sample report that we use quite a bit. This is taken to an Excel file, but this is the revenue by position number. So you can see here from left to right, it's going to show you the machine number, what kind of machine it is, the VEN price, and then it's going to break it down by cash, credit, debit, and loyalty card by dollar amount and percentage. So again, this is a way for you guys to make better decisions on how to run the business. You may see that machine 2 and machine 5 are the exact same machine. Maybe this one, machine 2, gets used 80% credit card versus machine number 5 being 10% credit card. What's the reason for that? Maybe it's time to do a special for a certain bank of machines. So again, this can be exported to Excel, very easy to use for you guys and very easy to understand. And for any of your loyalty card customers who buy a card, then register them, you can do a little bit of marketing directly from the operator portal. So one thing, when I started working in the industry 9 years ago, working for Speed Queen, I noticed that a lot of really good laundromat owners and a lot of profitable laundromats, they didn't do hardly any marketing. And being the millennial and being on social media and whatnot, I know whatever. There's a lot of free or very inexpensive ways to grow your brand, whether that's in Google Places, whether that's a basic website, Facebook, Instagram. A lot of stores that were really well run and making a lot of money had no web presence. I know there were 3 in my little neighborhood in Milwaukee where I'm from, all good laundromats. They're very clean, always busy, but if you went to Google and searched it, they didn't exist. So it's like you guys could do a little bit more. It would make a big difference. So with this, you can go through and see anyone, any of your customers who have registered. You can send them emails directly from here. Whether you want to give an update on new hours, or we just put in 20 new touch machines, or hey, come on in for a free wash. We're doing a monthly special. Here it is. You can send that directly from the portal. And my last slide here for you guys is just a quick little case study. The picture is a little bit hard to see, but this store belongs to one of my coworkers in New Hampshire. He is our director of product development. So he does engineering work, installation work, sales, marketing, service. Jeff North, he does everything for our company. And he owns a couple laundromats where we do a lot of our testing. So this laundromat, it's hard to kind of see, but it's got a mismatch of equipment. It's got some old, kind of dingy looking carpeting, not very well lit, not very well painted. It's kind of a dumpy looking store. But he put Spider Wash in this store in August of 2016. He went from being coin only to accepting coin, credit debit, loyalty cards, mobile pay, everything. He does the free wash program, but I mentioned that buy 9 washes, get the 10th for free. That was the most popular. He does a lot of marketing with this, and I think it's pretty brilliant. He does the Lucky 13. So buy 12 washes, get the 13th for free. And he markets it as sort of a gambling or sort of a lottery type theme. Come try your luck at the Lucky 13. And people go bananas for it. It's really interesting to see someone maybe getting a value of a $2 wash, but they're thinking, hey, I got this big load of laundry. I'll put a couple things in this machine, put a couple in this one, and a couple in this one. I got 3 to go. I'm going to get that free wash. So he does the Lucky 13. In 1 calendar year, August 2016 to August 2017, his top line revenue increased by 26% by taking advantage of some of the Spider Wash features. And if you were to ask him, I would say that he'd probably be happiest with this last bullet here. He took his cash usage, from 100% being coin only down to 34%. So almost 1/3 of all transactions are cash for him. That means 2/3 of the time he's not in the store collecting, not messing with anything. He's out enjoying his free time. So I think if you were to ask him, he'd say that's his biggest win. And that's all I got. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them now, or else I'll be kind of floating around the back and back there.
So is the app on, you can get it in Apple Store?
Yeah.
Google?
Yep.
Because I just searched and it said this site does not exist within the LDAP.
Sorry, the question was, is the app available in the Apple Store? So if you just type in Spider Wash in the Apple Store, it should come right up. I have it on my phone, which is plugged in. Oh, Spider Wash. Let me know if it comes up. All right, thank you guys very much. And again, if anyone has any questions for me, I'll be wandering around. Thanks.
Let's see, maybe it goes this way. Hopefully that's down there. Okay, I just want to introduce Chuck. He's with American Changemakers. He has a unique changer, which is it's what it does is I'm going to let him tell you what it does, but I'll tell you very much. We've done a lot of business with American over the years. They've been a great supporter of us and been a good company to do, to follow up with service and what have you. And Chuck's been coming for a few years now.
Yep,
we appreciate it, and glad to have him back because it's been
Yep.
a year and a half since we've had anybody here.
Yep.
But Chuck, I'll let you tell him a little bit about the American Changers.
Okay, Michael, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Again, I'd like to thank Michael and his complete staff here for having me here today. It's always a pleasure to be here at Star, and it's certainly greatly appreciated. Thank you Mike, thank you very much. And thanks for the whole staff. And American Changer has been around for a long time, and American Changer is by far the largest changer company in the country, by far. It's not even close. They sell so many more changers than our competition. We're heavily involved with car wash, we're heavily involved with laundry, obviously, and amusement. American Changer just dominates in that business. I mean, they probably have 95% of the changers in the amusement business installed, and certainly heavily involved in laundry, that's why I'm here today. At American Changer, they make every single change machine, from the smallest change machine to the biggest of change machines. And I want to talk to you about some of the most popular models. And probably the most popular model that American Changer makes is their AC2225. That's a change machine. Why people like this machine, because it's literally two change machines behind one faceplate. There is nothing, there's two of everything behind there, from the power cord to the control board to the bill acceptor to everything. So if anything goes wrong with one change machine, the odds of the second one having an issue is pretty much nil. So they're pretty much constantly running all time. It's probably the most popular change machine in the country, and that's why people like it, for redundancy. And 3 years ago, American Changer purchased a company called Rowe, and Rowe's been around for 100 years. They've been around forever. And 2 years ago, they actually purchased my company. I owned a company called Triad, and my company, a small company up in Massachusetts, we built bill breakers, we built change machines, we built recyclers. For a small company, we dominated the market for recyclers and bill breakers. And I want to explain to you what a recycler does. The Triad model TC400RL-4 has the largest installed base of any changer in the country with bill recyclers in it. And how a bill recycler works, when somebody puts in a $1 bill, a $10 bill, or a $20 bill, they stack up inside the bill acceptor. When somebody puts a 5 in, they stack down. And there's 2 recyclers per machine, and each recycler will hold 30 5s. And now when somebody puts in a 10 or a 20, we can kick those 5s right back out of the bill acceptor to make change. And everybody says 65s total. Everybody goes to me that, that's not going to buy me the time of day, the 65s. But they have to get over the thinking is, sure, they're going out, but they're constantly coming back in to replenish themselves. That's the key to it. And there's a lot of good reasons for recyclers. You don't have to buy a bill breaker and a change machine. We have one machine that'll do both. No customers want 80 quarters for a $20 bill, so this serves a need where people can get $5 bills and quarters instead of 80 quarters. You don't have to have attendants breaking bills. People like that. People really enjoy that. Your attendants can be doing other things, maybe wash, dry, fold. There's certain other things they can be doing. It's a very, very popular machine. And one of the features that people really like about the Triad recycler change machine, it has a display on it. It actually has 2 displays on it, one on the front door and one on the back. And what they do is, every time a bill goes in, it's going to show you what bill value went in, and it's going to actually show you what bill went out. For example, there's nothing perfect in this world. If something happened, somebody put a $5 bill in, they got $3 out. So it's going to say in 5, paid 3, and that's going to stay there until the problem is solved. And it virtually eliminates a lot of customers' disputes. Somebody can't walk up to you and say, "Oh, I just put a $20 bill in, I didn't get any change." Well, no, you put a $5 bill in and you receive 3. It's black and white, and it virtually eliminates definitely eliminates disputes for sure. Now the row change machine does with recyclers in it. It does everything that the Triad machine does, but it definitely has a heavier, beefier cabinet, and also it has remote access. And what that can do for you, it can send you alerts, can send you text messages, send you emails, and we have some issues where we've had problems with the installation because you have to have a static IP address, right? You have to have a static IP address. So we know that. So you have to check with your internet provider, make sure that you have that. But it's a great machine. And another great feature that the Rowe recycler change machine will do is, for example, if somebody put in X amount of quarters in your washer and they said that washer didn't start, or if somebody didn't get enough change out of the change machine, you could be wherever and say, okay, you get a call, do me a favor, stand in front of the change machine, and remotely you can dispense them as many quarters as you want. Say, I didn't get 8 quarters. Okay, stand in front of the machine, boom, 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 there's your 8 quarters. And then they can walk away with that. So it's becoming a very popular change machine. It's remote access is becoming more and more important. People like that ability. And again, that, you know, the American has 6 service people working down there constantly. They've, 60 employees down there, 50,000 square foot building. You know, it's a very large company, a huge. They do all their own manufacturing, from sheet metal to paint shop. They do everything inside, and they have very good customer support. And I always give people, anybody that buys one of the products that I have, I make sure that, you know, Michael or any of the distributors or any customers, I give them my cell phone number. If there's any questions, if they can't get in touch with somebody down there, you know, obviously I can get in touch with them maybe a little bit easier. Give me a call. I'll do my best to get the problem solved if there's an issue. So any questions on any of the American Changer products or any change machines at all, from the smallest ones to the biggest ones? Again, the remote access, not the remote access, the recyclers are great for a system like a Spidey Wash system, because you don't need as many quarters. People don't want as many quarters. You know, you're giving away $5 bills and change at the same time. And so it's a great machine. And if anybody has any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be in the back at any time. So thank you for your time. And Michael, thank you very much for your time.
Chuck, thank you.
Thank you.
Being here. Yes,
Michael.
Sir.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Oh.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck. That was great. Good. Appreciate you being here as usual and coming all the way down from, is it Cape Cod you live in? You live in Cape Cod? Yeah, so I think he probably came one of the furthest to come down and join us. Okay, give just 1 second here, and this is our last presentation of the day. After this, we'll have a general discussion. If anybody has anything they would like, actually, we can. Does anybody have any questions while they're setting up Brittany's? Does anybody have any comments or questions about what you've seen today, or just anything in general? If not, we just have one more presentation, and to me, this is a very valuable part of the laundromat ownership as well. This is another product, if a service product, I guess you would call, that we offer to our customers, and we include it with all of our new stores. So we'll talk about this in just a second. Just want to make sure we get Brittany set up here. I'd really like to thank the guy that keeps coming out of the office in there. That's Rod Frank. He's he's been with me. Rod, how long have we worked together? Long.
So many years I can't remember.
Me either. So 20 years maybe, but he's been working with me almost ever since I first got to Nashville, taking care of all our IT needs from start to finish, and appreciate you. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we also have some, all the door prizes, which I've neglected to give away all day, are getting ready to come soon. So the crowd's a little bit less now, so your chances of winning are quite good. But we have 2 more $100 bills. Scammer, you're not allowed to win. This is a friend of mine who'd like to be in the business, and since he's not in the business, he's ineligible to win. So anyway, friends and family are not eligible. Anyway, so we do have a couple more $100 to give away, and a TV, and some more gift cards, I believe. Do we also have some service credits? A couple of those. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started, but I'll tell you just real quickly, Brittany, I found Brittany through one of our customers up in Kentucky, and I always saw all of his information on social media about his laundromats. And I'm like, boy, you're really doing a good job with this and what have you. And he's a very busy guy. He owned a bunch of laundries and owned a bunch of other businesses. And I was like, how do you maintain this? He goes, well, I don't. I have a company that does it, and it turned out it was Brittany. So luckily, this customer introduced me to Brittany, and he's no longer one of Brittany's customers or what have you, but Brittany is now working with a lot of our customers, and anytime, again, we build a new store, I include this in the package because I think you have to have Google, you have to have social media, and even me, who's on social media a good bit, I thought I could always do it for my laundries, but you just don't have the time, nor do you have the professionalism to know what's your customers and how to get it out there in the world. This is all she does, and specifically what she does, and she does a great job with it. So you handle all 3 of my laundries. Do you handle you handle store distributing and parts keying. So again, I pay 5 times for this service as well. And that's,
along with about 80 other laundries.
right. And since we've met, she's started coming to our open house. That's that many, huh? Wow, that's great. So anyway, so something you have to have. If you don't have it yet, I think you would like to have it after you see this. But Brittany, won't steal too much more of your thunder, but go right ahead and thank you very much. She came in from Lexington, is that right?
Bardstown.
Bardstown, Kentucky. So she drove a long way too to be here. So if you don't mind, give her your attention, and we'll wrap up after this with the door prizes. So thank you.
Thank you. And if anyone was on the virtual show last time, I'm sorry if you had to hear me speak, because that was terrible. I was actually in labor, and I had just gone into labor, and so I was having trouble like just speaking in general. So I no longer have that problem, thankfully. But so social media, I know that if you've heard me talk before, you know that it's an algorithm. What you're posting, how you're posting, all of that matters. But algorithms are more important than it's ever been before, because the industry has changed. Like during COVID, the marketing industry changed a lot. And one of the things is called TikTok. And we'll talk about how that has changed everything. So stories. So first of all, how many of you here are doing social media for your laundry? Okay. Are any of you doing stories? Raise your hand. Okay. And so does anyone not know what a story is on social media?
I'm sure some people don't.
All right. So when you log on to Facebook or Instagram, you see there's a box that pops up in the front, and you can click on it, and then you see how it's going, like what's been going on that day and stuff like that. And it's a lot of personal stuff right now from personal users and not businesses, but it's taking over. A lot of people are actually looking at their stories and never look at their news feed. So if you're not up there, then you're actually not going to let anyone see you and to grow your potential business that way. Which if you have any questions, just stop me. Here is an example of a story. I know it's hard to see with the lighting, but that we would do. This was obviously during COVID because they were wearing a mask. Okay. I really strongly dislike public speaking. Videos. So videos are also something that's very important on social media. People buy from who they like, and they want to see what your laundry is like before they ever walk in the door. So we actually travel all over filming for laundries. I actually have a video editor in California now that will film all of my laundries out there. And we come in, we film, and then we put it online. It's a lot like the Google walkthrough, except it changes exactly what you're showing. And if my computer will work, I'm going to show you all a video. And I had it pulled up. You're probably not going to be able to hear it, but no, you can't hear it. So this is Wash Club LA. It's just a pickup and delivery business, and it's going to show you what all it's targeting. If you can see, this video reached over 7,000 people. And then we're just promoting like the places that they will actually deliver to. I knew I shouldn't have switched over to that.
Yeah, I've never been on TikTok myself, so it's new social media for us slightly older people.
Okay. Yes. So that's where, we have the normal videos. We have stories, which is kind of like a video. And so they're going to start making it increasingly harder by TikTok. So raise your hand if you've ever been on TikTok. All right. You can lose hours in there. Now, TikTok came around at the perfect time where everybody was stuck inside, and that's one thing that I think that grew TikTok. And you will never have a platform that grew as quickly from all age ranges. Like with Facebook, it was 13-year-olds, and then their parents got on it, so then they went to Instagram, and then that's how Snapchat happened, and then it just keeps on going. But with TikTok, you have 90-some-year-olds on there making videos. What I'm going to say with this is that Instagram and Facebook had to find a way to keep up. And this is where one of the algorithms have changed. It's called Instagram Reels. Instagram Reels are very new. So you have stories, you have the videos on your newsfeed, and then now you have Instagram Reels. And it's a new concept where you can share and discover engaging short videos on Instagram. It's TikTok is essentially what it is, but it's on Instagram and it's catching on like crazy, just as fast as TikTok did. So it's very valuable for your business to be using Instagram Reels. And the difference between like a story that you post is only available for 24 hours and then it disappears. Even if you share it with someone, it's gone after 24 hours. But Instagram Reels are actually going to stay there. So if you're utilizing Instagram correctly, then you could have the stories in the newsfeed or the videos in the newsfeed in the post, and then you could have the Instagram Reels, and then you could have the stories. So you can hit just on one platform in one day, hit the potential customer 3 times. That's all my notes. But and so with the algorithm, we can specifically target people. So like if you're doing wash, dry, fold, we're going to target people within that area that are specifically doing, or that could have the budget to do wash, dry, fold. Because obviously a budget for self-service and wash, dry, fold is a lot of times different. So, and this is one of the ways that I describe it, is that someone could say, I want to target someone that lives in Nashville, makes $500,000 a year and drives a pink Cadillac. If that person exists, I can get your ads in front of them. Does anyone have any questions about the algorithm changes or Instagram, Facebook, TikTok?
So you do all of that.
Instagram Reels are new. We're going to talk about that.
How long would it take me to do all that myself if I did it myself instead of hired a professional outfit like your own?
Probably about. How long would it take? He asked if how long would it take for him to do all of his stuff by himself instead of a company doing it. Well, you've got to think about the prep that goes into it. So first we have to come and film. Then we have to create the posts. Then we have to edit the videos, edit the reels, edit all of that. So you're talking a minimum of about 5 to 6 hours a week, and that's a low number. And like with Roger, we come down every, 6 months probably and film. We're filming tomorrow at all your locations. Yes.
Brittany, there's been studies that show there are certain days of the week that are best for posting. How does that change in the laundromat industry versus something like nonprofit organizations or retails?
So, well, let's talk about retail and laundromat. How does the the times of day posting and the days that you're posting change compared to like retail and a laundromat? So for like a retail store, you could, for one thing, you could post 5 times a day and that would still be okay. For a laundromat, you never want to post like on a news feed more than once. A story you could always post on, you could post as many stories as possible. But it depends a lot. You have to catch people, and it also depends on if you're targeting self-service, wash, dry, fold, or if you're pickup and delivery. So if it's self-service, it's a lot easier to target them more frequently because they are usually on their mobile devices or computers more. And wash, dry, fold, and pickup and delivery, you're talking like, especially pickup and delivery, you're talking like doctors, lawyers, those are the people that you're targeting. So you have to study and know the times to be able to reach them that they would actually be looking at their mobile device or computer. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm going to hang out for a while. Like I said, we have over 80 laundries now, from California all the way to North Carolina. And if you have any questions, like if you just want to talk to me about, you have this post that isn't, or that you can't get the exposure up, just let me know, and then I will try to help you with that.
So I have one more question. How did you get laundries all the way from California to North Carolina?
The Laundromat group on Facebook.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. So I joined that because my husband and I are trying very hard to own a laundry. I've actually talked to Roger about this. My husband's a teacher and wants to quit teaching. And so I joined the laundromat group, and then people started asking, like, who are you using for marketing? And then it just so happens I started working with the admin of the laundromat group, so he refers us all the time. Actually, on the way down here, I got a message of someone wanting to talk with us. So on average, I have about 3 or 4 laundries that message me a week asking for our services.
Wow, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, and I want to tell you this. So I just had a laundry that did a grand opening, and it was a bigger laundry, and they increased their budget for that 1 week. So they're monthly with us, but then they increased their budget with $5,000 for 1 week. And during their grand opening, they were averaging 7 turns a day. And that's all. Thank you, guys.
How about the labor? What about the little boy or little girl? You said the last time you spoke to the group you were in labor?
I was.
How about the little boy or little girl?
He's a boy. He actually wasn't born that day because nobody would listen to me and think that I was actually in labor. So I had him a few days later on the side of the road. In the car.
That wasn't on TikTok.
That was not on TikTok. Nope. My husband had to deliver him.
Wow, that's a story though.
A 10-pound baby.
Well done, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Hey, it's more scary for dad.
Actually, he did better with that. That's our 3rd son, and he did better with that one than he's done with any other ones. And he told me it's because, yes, that's exactly what he said. He said I didn't have an option.
That's amazing. I didn't realize she was in labor during that presentation either. It was amazing. We were the first people to ever do an online streaming event or an online open house event like we did last year. And we were the first people to do an online streaming event this year. And so we had 25 people on there earlier today. I don't know how many we wound up having this afternoon, but Kim, would you come on up? But so we're trying new things. We're always trying to lead our industry in technology and just for everything from technology on machines to the way we market laundries through Google to the way we do things with social media. But I'd like to say thanks to all the presenters today from, I guess Joe started today, and then we had Jason Fleck, and then we had Tom Weisheipl. And after lunch we had, I know we had Joy, and we had John Kelly from Spider Wash, and then Brittany, and of course, I said Joy already, but thank you for all of you guys coming into town and helping support us yet again. We're going to do this again in Knoxville on Thursday, and so I'm sure it's been great having you guys here today. And if we have any questions or comments, we'll open it up for all that in just a second. But in the meantime, we're going to give away the door prizes that we have left, which are most of them. But we have the first will be gift cards, I guess. How many of those do we have left? 2. Okay, we'll go with Ron Creech. Oh, yeah.